Heads up, my code Espresso gets you 30% off your order at gfuel.com right now. Check the link in the description below if you're interested. So today was the day that we ended up seeing the preview for Modern Warfare's second season kicking off tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We saw that previewed to all of us. We get to see a little bit of what's coming, a little bit of what's still further down the road, but in season, which there's a lot of cool stuff here. So today I wanted to break down all of that and let you know everything you need to know before jumping into tomorrow's update. So as we go along here, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Is there anything in particular you're really looking forward to, anything maybe not so much, or what do you have in terms of general thoughts comparative to what this outlook for season 2 may look like compared to season 1? Whatever it is, feel free to let me know your thoughts. But of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe, especially if you're part of that nearly 70% of viewers who are not subscribed, so you can stay up to date with all things Modern Warfare, especially as we kick into season 2 here. But that said, let's jump into it because there's a lot to discuss. So when we first talk about what we got today, probably the biggest thing is that of an actual trailer that showcases season 2. Now, this actually leaked over on the Xbox, I think, store as of last night, a couple of minutes actually after yesterday's video went up. So it's been out there. It's not anything that's brand new in that sense, but it is something that from an official standpoint, it's finally put out there. You'll be seeing that in the background now for you guys. Can leave the link down there in the description for you guys to check out the full thing, but that's really not all that much other than just a visual preview of what's to come. We get more explained to us here out of the roadmap and also the blog post over on Activision's website. Now, for the season 2 roadmap, let's talk about that real quick because we see this actually, firstly, from a design perspective. I'm a huge fan of the way this is laid out. That's just throwing my own personal interests out there with some slight design background, like the way this is formatted. But we see that we have day 1 and then in-season content with, of course, Ghost as that operator. Now, for the day 1 content, we actually have a decent bit dropping tomorrow. It seems to be a little bit more than what we got as of day 1 with season 1, and in season, it looks like there might be maybe not necessarily as much, but still an equalizing amount. But we'll talk about that in a second because there is a slight asterisk on that statement. For day 1, we're going to end up seeing tomorrow 6v6 maps of Rust and Atlas Superstore introduced. Then we're going to see the ground war map of Zokov Boneyard, which of course may seem familiar to you because it was one from Spec Ops, but also it takes a little inspiration from the Modern Warfare 2 campaign. We'll also end up seeing that gunfight tournaments are back, as well as a brand new CDL playlist. We have Ghost being introduced as a new operator with that battle pass, and also the Growl 556 and Striker 45 weapons coming along in the battle pass as well. We also have 2 new gunfight maps of Bazaar, and also it says and more, but that's just going to be because Rust is going to be playable in a 2v2 gunfight perspective, so you'll be able to play on that one. But those are the things coming along with tomorrow and day 1. Also with that battle pass, then also missions, new trials, and things like that, a rank reset. So that's stuff you can expect as of tomorrow. But in season with this new roadmap, we end up seeing we'll have another multiplayer map, Condor Hideout, that being a 6v6 map. We see that for the first time, we'll have 3 operators introduced within season 2 later on down the line. My guess is 2 weeks out from tomorrow, and then maybe another 2 weeks out after that. But we have Talon and Mace, who you can end up seeing in the trailer. Those operators are going to be introduced, whether or not they're via challenge, whether or not they're via shop bundle, or maybe a combination of both. We'll see that later on down the line in season. We'll also see the game modes of Infected Ground War, which I'm insanely excited for. Gunfight variations like we've seen all throughout season 1, NVG reinforced, which is what we saw a little bit in that trailer again, and an and more section that doesn't really have much but a crown, which there might be something behind that. But we also see that, again, just like the crossbow, we'll get another weapon in season. That's something we can take a look out for. Right now, I can't really discern what that actually is. Kind of looks like a shotgun to me, but I could be wrong. But that's your roadmap and what we learned about here at that one. But elaborating on things a little further comes now that blog post from Activision, where it gives us some specific insight into details that we may not see otherwise within that standard roadmap. Now, one thing I really want to start out this blog post discussion about is dealing a little bit with the battle pass, because while we don't know the specific items just yet, we saw a little bit of a leak that showcased some of it, but we don't have all of it. One thing though that is clarified here at this is a little bit about the free tiers for season 2. It follows very similarly to season 1, in which both the Growl 556 and the Striker 45 are both free weapons naturally and are available at tier 15 and tier 31. So the exact same model as what we saw as of season 1, so you don't have to go 100 tiers to get a new weapon. That's something that I think think is fantastic, but those will be available there. You'll have the option to end up getting the Battle Pass for 1,000 COD points or the Battle Pass bundle for 2,400 COD points, which will start you off at tier 20. That'll be available there. If you end up getting the Battle Pass Premium, you'll end up getting 1,300 COD points out. So essentially a net gain of 300 COD points throughout. And of course, that will grant you then access to Simon Ghost Riley. And then of course, a bunch of other customization items like weapon blueprints, XP tokens, operator skins, challenges, watches, and all things that came along with that one. Now, actually a little editing note here, going back into this post commentary and now filling this back in, we actually found out that the 2 other operators we'll get in season are actually going to be coming via store updates at some point throughout the season. It's not something where one may be a challenge, one may be a store. We do have Ghost as a part of that battle pass for 1,000 COD points that you get instantaneously, but as for operators Talon and Mace, you'll end up having to see them introduced via the shop. So kind of a bummer here with that one, but also I think we kind of maybe expected that, as unfortunate as it may be, but they're only cosmetic. It's not anything that's functional. I'll take weapons for free over an operator. But next thing I want to talk about is briefly the maps themselves. We got a little bit of detail on these in the blog post as well. Rust, of course, is that classic. It doesn't look like too much is all that changed other than some aesthetic, and I did see one door in some of the promotional images, but other than that, it looks to be the same, as chaotic as I would imagine, and of course probably right there up on par with Shipment in this game. Spawns I have low hopes for, but ultimately I'm hopeful that maybe I'm pleasantly surprised. Atlas Superstore looks to be a sort of CQC style map with maybe some lanes of engagement for rifles and some snipers, but it says there's dense lanes of traffic with fallen shelving and all throughout like that. Zokov Boneyard, of course, taking place in the resting place of some various different planes. And Bazaar, the gunfight map, there's not really too much to say about that other than symmetrical, because gunfight, of course, but the maps look pretty interesting to me, and I'm excited to jump in as of tomorrow. For the game modes, we end up seeing that gunfight tournaments will be launching tomorrow. That's going to be something where it's going to be around for a limited time, but 32 teams can enter. Only one will be crowned that victor. The Call of Duty League rule set playlist is going to be something tomorrow as well. That's something where you can fight like the pros, they say, and it's going to have restrictions to the maps, modes, weapons, attachments, perks, all that kind of stuff that is banned. It's going to be just how the pros play, but in a public setting that anybody can take advantage of that. Now, it's not a designated ranked mode, so don't get your hopes up just yet that that's going to be something where all skill-based matchmaking or all sweaty players are going to be funneled into. It's just a simple playlist that's going to be on the main menu selection that you'll be able to jump into. Personally, I don't think I'm really going to take advantage of that. I don't care too much for that. I just kind of want to play the game. So you guys may be like that as well, or you guys may actually want to jump into it, but it'll be there. Mid-season, we're going to see Demolition, Infected Ground War, and NVG Reinforce. Demolition, of course, making its return. That's a fan favorite and a classic to the franchise. Infected Ground War is something I'm really looking forward to. We'll see how it plays out. If it's exactly how we think it will, just bringing Infected into the Ground War rotation. I kind of hope so, but it'll be interesting to see that and the massive player counts that'll come along with it. NVG Reinforce is going to be reinforced, but with the night vision variation, so you're at that. And then we end up seeing a little bit of information on new trials and missions. We're going to see the trials of Race, Pitcher, Gun Course 3.0, and Clear the Area 2.0. Race is going to be an ATV race, which is seemingly pretty cool here at this. I didn't really think of this in Modern Warfare, but hey, if you got ATVs, why not? Pitcher is an explosive version of Cornhole, in which you can practice your throwing skills with lethal equipment and toss as many frag grenades on target as possible within the time limit. That one is pretty intriguing to me, just as a little fun challenge. Gun Course 3.0 is just going to be sharpening your skills with each weapon that you have on offer, and then Clear the Area 2.0 is going to task you with finding and eliminating all hostiles in an area of operations as quickly as possible, just like the original. As for new missions, of course, it mentions that you're going to get a handful of those, in which you'll be able to grind out a bunch of stuff with that, and there's going to be a couple of PS4 exclusives as well, just like we saw within Season 1. The final thing that I want to talk about here within this blog post and a little bit about what's upcoming within Season 2 is that they mentioned a little bit about the theme, the backstory of Season 2. At the very beginning of this blog post, they say, in Season 2, Al-Qatala agents have stolen a Soviet nuclear warhead and smuggled it into the city of Verdansk. Combined with previously obtained chemical gas, Al-Qatala is now determined to cut off Verdansk from the rest of the world. On the brink of a global catastrophe, Captain Price sends in Ghost to track down the location of the warhead and lead key operators before it's too late. This sounds honestly really awesome, but the one thing that I do want to say is that we probably won't see too much about it because, I mean, we don't see anything within Spec Ops listed on this roadmap. Whether or not there's a good reason for that, one could argue if there's going to be the theoried battle royale at any point during the season, you're already pulling from the major Spec Ops world, so it might not be best to include new Spec Ops stuff with it. But if there is new Spec Ops stuff coming, we really don't have any way to progress the storyline as is. I mean, we haven't seen any new cutscenes to my knowledge, and how are you going to tell a story that's supposed to be an extension of campaign? How are you going to tell a story without any story elements to it other than a paragraph every season or so? So yes, the gameplay can kind of elaborate a little bit, but there's not really a story that you can follow just as a casual viewer. So I'm curious to see what becomes of this, but that's also where I kind of want to wrap it up. So let me know your thoughts on what you think of Season 2 so far in the preview here that we got as of today. Make sure that you stick it here on the channel. I'm working on something that may be coming for a second upload here in just a little bit of time. I'm really excited if this one comes through. So that said, stick it here on the channel. Make sure you guys subscribe. Drop your thoughts down there in the comment section down below and drop a like if you guys are excited for Season 2. But that said, thanks so much for watching. Mine has been Espresso. I'll see you guys later, hopefully for a second video. Stick it here on the channel just in case. And I'll see you guys either then or for tomorrow's update. So thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.